A highly efficient, value-driven individual and forward thinker who is self-motivated and can effectively work independently or...
It's a mouthful.
I am tired just reading that.
Yeah.
So I guess the first piece of feedback when it comes to that would be, that is a run-on sentence. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Reni. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I do appreciate you for watching this video. So as you can see, I clearly have a very special guest on my channel. This is Busi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Reni.
Busi is a content creator from South Africa, based in Canada, in Oakville, and she makes content around immigration, also about money, about a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty open.
About a lot of things, but I have been watching her videos for a bit of time, and I really enjoy them. She actually told me that she got all her jobs in Canada from LinkedIn.
I did.
Every single one of them.
4.
Yes.
I've been in Canada now 4. So hi everyone.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I have been in Canada now for almost 3 years. I moved in 2019.
Oh, wow.
And I've had 4 jobs.
I didn't know it was only 2019.
2019, still pretty
wow.
fresh.
And wow, that's really good. And she just got a new job again from LinkedIn.
Yes.
So as you can see by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about your LinkedIn profiles. And we're going to be saying if we like them or if we don't like them. We both, I would say, have very good LinkedIn profiles that have gotten us jobs in the past. So we're going to be critiquing some of yours. I asked you to comment on one of my videos and say if you wanted your LinkedIn profile to be critiqued. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. And the person who gave me this video idea is actually Tolu. So thank you so much, Tolu, for this idea. I do Yas versus Yikes on my story. And now we're going to do Yas versus Yikes for your LinkedIn profile.
I'm going to be nice.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll be the mean one and she'll be the nice one. If this is your first time watching my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And whether you are new or returning, please hit that like button, as it really does help my channel grow. And we're also going to have a few more profiles on Busi's channel. So I will make sure to link that down below so you can go and watch that and get more feedback. So let's begin with the first profile. This is actually Taiwo or Joseph's profile. So I thought we'd start with him since he's the one who gave us the idea. So let's go through it. Let's give our first impressions, and then we will give 3 pieces of constructive criticism.
At first glance, I think it looks very great. I actually really love the fact that he has a banner, because a lot of people don't add that on their profiles, and I think it's a very easy way to just differentiate your profile, so when someone gets on there, it's very eye-catching and they can read whatever it is that you wrote if you do have words in there. But that's space that a lot of people just don't use for some reason, so I love that.
Me too. Give him a thumbs
definitely.
up. Yeah. Okay, now let's give some 3 pieces of constructive criticism. What about the photo? Let's see. Okay, 1 piece of feedback. The photo's a little blurry. It's a little blurry. So I would say fix that. Get a photo that is clear, and also maybe one that's from the chest up, a headshot, so people can see not your full body but just your head.
Face,
exactly. We want to see who we're talking to. We want an up close, personal, and clear shot, ideally.
One thing I want, like with the location, Brampton, Ontario, do you feel like that's like closing yourself off?
Good point. Yes, I think that is closing yourself off. I would say Toronto, or even
GTA,
Greater Toronto area. Yeah, that opens you up to more opportunities, and people won't. I even like to not have my, especially my resume. I don't even put my address on my resume because I don't want people.
It closes you off
to
some opportunities.
Yeah, so I would say, Joseph, fix that up. Instead of putting Brampton, put Greater Toronto area. Or Toronto, at least Toronto. But yeah, Greater
Ontario even.
Yes.
Because you could find work that's maybe remote or whatever. Exactly. I don't know. But Ontario would also work.
Exactly. You have to think of it from the recruiter's point of view. If you only say that you're in Brampton, but maybe the job opportunity is in Barrie, they're going to be like, that's a little far for that. Yeah. Even if it's remote, some people think that way, you know?
True.
So we want to open ourselves up and give us as many opportunities as possible.
The result of hard work, proactive in nature, open to positive criticism, and a team player. My interests include empowering others to achieve and take recognition of their full potential. Music, business, and tech. IT change management and software development. I feel like I'm not quite getting much on the job side of things.
Exactly.
I'm not very clear on what it is that you could be able to do for a company.
Exactly.
From the description and the about us.
I would agree. I would say there's also a disconnect between your headline and your about section. So the headline tells me, okay, you're in IT, you're in software development. That's good. But then in your about section, we don't.
It doesn't give that same feel. It's not continuing. On that,
And remember, when a recruiter is looking you up on LinkedIn Recruiter, they're actually looking for keywords that are going to be there. So in your about section, I don't really see any keywords there. Your skills are there. You're a hard worker. You're proactive. Those are good skills, but you don't have any technical skills
that you could and you still make it a sentence. You make it a paragraph, and you're adding those skills. So when someone is searching for someone who does what you do, they're able to find you through all of the things that you've added in your About Us section. And I think that's another big thing with LinkedIn that a lot of people don't quite, I'd say maybe know. When recruiters are searching for you, all of the different keywords that you're adding, so not just the title that you have or the jobs that you've added, every single section, including the About Us section, it helps your profile come up. If you're putting in the right words in there, it helps your profile a lot.
100%. Okay, so those would be the 3 pieces of feedback that we would give you. One thing I do like is that you have your featured section, though. That's great.
Really good,
and they're all filled out. So yeah, always good to have those because it gives someone a clear place of where they should go once they look at your page. You don't have any information about what you did at any of these roles that are here. So it says you are an IT control coordinator, but what do you actually do in that role? There's no place to click or anything. I can't expand it. There's nothing telling me what you do while you are there. And therefore, same thing. When people are, it's a search engine. We want to be able to find you as much as possible. So add those keywords, add the tasks that you did, and add the results that you had while you were working there. The next profile that we have is Tolu Laidi. So my first impression would probably be yikes. Yeah. What about you?
I feel like it's kind of in the middle. Like I see that you've put in effort. I do see that you've put in effort, but you can definitely do a little bit more. And it still goes back to when we're just getting on the profile. That banner and profile picture really need to work together. And I think it helps introduce. It's kind of like that first impression when you're getting on a LinkedIn profile.
Exactly.
Similar to how when you're meeting someone and maybe they're dressed a certain way and they're saying hi to you, that's the first impression that you're giving in person. So on LinkedIn, I feel like those 2 things really work to be your first impression.
Yeah.
And then by the time someone is going in to look, oh, okay, what has this person done? What does their About Us say? Or anything else that's on your profile, those 2 things are your first impression on LinkedIn.
A recruiter can look at 10 different profiles and they are gonna stop at the one that makes them stop.
Catches their eye,
so
attention.
If my picture is nice, this is the first 20% of the page that they're looking at, right? So if they're not even gonna scroll if the first 20% is not something that attracts them to the profile. So just make sure you are, beefing up the top, at least the top of the profile. Beef that up.
Yeah. And then I also don't see an About Us on here. There's no About Us.
Okay.
So I think that's another big one.
Yes.
I mean, as I said before, it literally can be one sentence. My About Us, I think right now is one sentence.
Really?
It's one sentence, and my profile has been working for me.
She just got a job off of LinkedIn, so it's working. Our piece of feedback. So I guess the first 2 would be the banner. Update that. 2 would be the About Us section. At least put some details about who you are and what goals you have. It can be both personal and professional. So talk about a little bit about who you are as a person, but also what skills do you have, what roles are you trying to get, different things like that can be in your About section. And another piece of feedback I would have is your headline is kind of limiting yourself right now. You have your headline as staff accountant at KPMG Canada. Well, this is great. We can already go on to your experience section and find out that you're currently a staff accountant at KPMG Canada.
Yeah.
Tell us about who you are.
For me, it's The company side, I used to put the company I worked for, but I don't think it's necessary and it's wasted real estate because someone can actually just go look at your work experience to find that. But depending on the kind of role I'd say you're in, for me specifically, I'm a customer success manager, and
it's a very niche.
It's very niche, and for me, putting customer success manager in there makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
But there's roles where I don't think
like
it's
for me
quite
as
necessary.
A marketing manager, I don't think I needed I never needed that on my profile.
Yeah.
But having saying I'm a strategic marketer was something that helped me get a lot of eyes on my page.
Because probably even when they're searching, recruiters or hiring managers, they're probably searching for a strategic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say at least ditch the company in your tagline, because you want to build your personal brand around you as a person, not around a company, because a company can let anyone go at any time.
True.
But you want to have your own identity and your own personal brand outside of that.
And I'd say around the staff accountant, I'm not quite sure what you do from a day-to-day basis, but is that what a recruiter would be searching for? If they'd be looking for someone who does whatever kind of job you want, would they search staff accountants? That's something you need to think about and look at. And I do think it can be changed. I don't necessarily know what to say put on there, because it depends on your specific industry, but I think write something else in there.
Yes. I do like, however, that you have your activities section filled out. Clearly you even commented on my video. So clearly you've been active in the past 90 days, which was always a good sign, and it helps you get noticed. Another piece of feedback that I would have would be to add to connect your experience to an actual company. So here we see that you were working as an academic success mentor at the Center for Student Engagement, but where is that company? I think it always looks better when it's attached to a company. It's either at University of Toronto or Ryerson. That's the schools you went to. So I would say make sure you just connect it to one of these pages.
Yeah.
And it looks a little bit better, because then when you open this up, it will link to the University of Toronto page, and then it just makes you look like you've worked at a legitimate company.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you just wrote something, you added something in there that's not really linked to any company, just to add something to your profile. So definitely agree.
Yeah.
Just look at the skills and endorsements.
Maybe add a few more skills.
Yeah, definitely add a lot more skills, because I think it's quite bare.
Yeah.
Max out on the 50 that you are given, and make sure that you're putting relevant skills in there. That's going to help you rank in search.
Yeah.
If someone is looking for someone with the skills that you have for the types of jobs that you're looking for.
Yeah, like you said that you are an accountant, so I would say skills related to accounting should be there. Right now, I only see skills related to customer service. Leadership is important, but also some technical skills would be very helpful. What tools do you use as an accountant? Those things you can all add here, because that's what recruiters are looking for. I think Busi mentioned this earlier, but just make sure that you're thinking from the recruiter's point of view. What would they be looking for if they're looking to hire a new accountant at whatever firm they work at? Okay, on to the next profile. Next, we have Tanya Hoshi. And let me make sure I pronounced your last name right.
Tanya Hoshi.
Okay, perfect.
That is the coolest feature ever.
Right? So if you don't have that feature, maybe you want to add that to your page as well. So let's do a quick glance, and then we'll give our first impressions, if it's a yes or a yikes. Very detailed.
Very detailed. It's looking very good.
Yes. Wow. I think it's the longest page we've been on. Very thorough. Okay. First thoughts?
It's definitely a yes.
Me
It's
too.
a yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a really good page. And this is exactly what we were talking about, when the first 20% of your page needs to capture people's attention. This does exactly that. It
definitely captures attention, and it makes me want to just go in and read, like, okay, I see there's a banner on there. What is it saying? And it looks good. Like, it all looks very good just from a first glance.
Yeah. The headshot is perfect. Like, it's showing. I like the color of the headshot too. It's not something that you see pretty often where there's a red background, but it works.
Yeah,
it really works. And it draws you in, especially. Yeah. I don't know. It's just good. Like we can see that she's a film producer, and from her banner as well, you can tell that this is either one of the films that she's worked on.
Yeah.
It's clearly related to what she does. Yeah. And also, I think we mentioned earlier that you shouldn't have, or it's best not to have your company's name in your title, but I think it works in this situation.
Yeah, definitely depends.
Yeah, it depends on the company and the industry that you're in. For Tanya, she's working at Shopify. Shopify is one of the leaders in their industry, so it's like, kind of like a bragging type thing. Like, yeah, she works there. I should have, and people will want to recruit her simply because she works at Shopify.
True, very true.
Yeah. When you were working at Cisco,
Yes, so when I worked at Cisco, it's something that helped in my profile. So if I add customer success manager and I specify that I work for Cisco, when I moved to Canada, partners that were looking for customer success managers who have Cisco specific experience are going to find me because I've mentioned it on there. Like it's on my page multiple times, and it's easy to see that I have that experience. So it definitely makes sense. Like you have to look at your particular experience and see whether it makes sense or not to add the company. And in a lot of instances, or let me say some instances like mine and Tanya's as well, it definitely makes sense to add it. So look at the roles also that you're looking for. And if it makes sense to specify a company, then do it.
Yes. And I like that she doesn't just have her title. So she has her title and her place of work, but she's a creative strategist as well, which opens her up to more roles than just a film producer or a lead producer role. Okay, let's go to her About section. She's an experienced creative producer with projects spanning across broadcast, film, and digital platforms. Over the past 8 years, she's been heavily involved in film production, directing, editing, storytelling, social media marketing, content strategy, and managing a team.
And I think just from there, you already know so much about her.
Yes.
And you also can see how she strategically used a lot of the keywords that recruiters or whoever would be looking for someone with her type of experience would be searching for.
Yeah.
She used it very well. It's not just listing bullet points with skills, but she made it a sentence that makes sense. Like she made a paragraph that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it.
It looks good.
And we're only on the top half of her page. We haven't even gone anywhere yet. I also like that in her, she also spoke about her experience directly at Shopify, which is good in her About section. And she also has her website here, which shows a portfolio of what she does. So I think 10 out of 10. Well, one thing I would actually add would be a call to action. So she can add, if any of this interests you, please reach out. I would love to have a conversation or something along. Exactly. So, but overall, doing pretty well so far. Activity section, we see that she has some activity. It looks like a comment on someone else's post. So maybe consider posting your own content as well, Tanya, just so that more people can find you. With her experience section,
I love that she has details like in it. She's giving a description. So you're giving a description of what you did in a particular role.
And she also has results as well. So it's not just a description, but it's like she saved the team over $50,000 in production fees. Any recruiter is going to be like, oh, this person knows how to be efficient and very effective in what they're doing. So it's not just that she's listing that she's been onboarding new tools. She's actually saying, by onboarding these new tools, this is what I achieved in this role.
Which is really, really great.
Yeah. As a lead producer, Tanya, you currently don't have any details there, but I also see that you started 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When you get what I like to do is I like to add just the tasks when I don't have results yet, and then once I get results, I'll update it. So maybe that's something to consider, Tanya. But I'm sure at 2 months, you're probably not looking for a new role, probably. So it may not matter that much. Maybe we'll give a few more pieces of feedback. I like this. She has testimonials on her page. So linked to these projects that she's worked on, she has a few testimonials, which then link out to videos. She's doing everything right. And it's linked to the Shopify page. That gives a little bit of credibility. 48,000 views. So yeah, she's doing that. She's killing it. The only thing I would say is people actually have to look through her experience section in order to find them.
Yeah.
So we do have that feature. So maybe add them into the featured section of your LinkedIn page. So it's
I definitely think that's one of the features that not a lot of people would probably even know about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but it's a feature that exists, and we've shown it in other profiles. So it really would, I think, just add on to an already amazing profile.
Yes. Well, maybe we should just get into the next one. But overall, I think
it's good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Great job, Tanya. Yeah. So the next, let me listen to how you say your name.
Bilge. Bilge.
Okay. I love this feature. It's
Me
really
too.
good. So the next profile that we have is Bilge's. We'll do a quick run through and see if we give it a yes or a yikes. Okay.
It looks quite good. It's a yes from me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Definitely a yes. I think it captured my attention, and I saw the word realtor a couple of times when we were going through it. So I have an idea, and I'm thinking that's where her expertise leaned towards. So it's looking quite good from a first impressions perspective.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I see the word realtor, I see the word human quite a bit. So I think you're definitely, you're showcasing exactly, like I can clearly tell what you're trying to showcase in the first 5 seconds of looking at your profile. Some feedback that I would have would be in your headline, it's a little long for my liking. So CEO, co-founder of this real estate company, entrepreneur, investor, OREA YPN committee member, facilitator, Renaissance human. There's a lot. That's a lot going on there. And if we go onto the timeline, for example, and we see your title right here, it only goes so far. So yours would definitely have the ellipses at the end, and we wouldn't be able to have that full title on your page. So you just want to make sure that as many things as possible can be seen there.
Yeah, so I think if you feel that you want to have every single thing on there, make sure that you're adding the most relevant at the beginning, so it doesn't get cut off if someone is looking at your profile. But I'd also want to ask, like from a facilitator, the facilitator one specifically, it's not really going into detail with what you're doing in that space. So is it something that could be left maybe for more expansion in your About Us section? Maybe you already have it as an experience listed on your profile. So you also don't want to add things unnecessarily that are already featured in other places on your profile if it's not necessary to do so.
Good point. The next thing, I see that you have a creator profile. So it says that you talk about startup, Toronto, real estate, software development, and artificial intelligence. For me, I don't know about you, but for me, there's kind of a disconnect.
It doesn't align.
Yeah. So you say that what we got was that you're a real estate agent or a realtor, you're an entrepreneur, you're a human. Those are the first 3 things that come to me. But then
there's software development, there's artificial intelligence. Is that linked maybe to the facilitator side of things that you have in your title? That's the title, right? Headline. So I'd say
it's confusing.
It's confusing, it's confusing.
So maybe refine that, and maybe this should be more linked to real estate instead of software development. Or if software development and artificial intelligence are important, maybe
find a way of incorporating it as well into your headline instead of just having facilitator. Make it work together.
Next section. So one thing I like is that you have a lot of activity, and we'll go into the activity section just to look. So you have a lot of posts, which is good. You have some real estate posts, some articles that you're sharing, which is good. My only feedback would be there isn't a lot of engagement on your posts. So right now, there are no likes or comments on quite a few of the posts. And the reason for that may be, first, your caption isn't engaging people, so it's not asking people any questions. What are they supposed to do with this information? There's no call to action, I would say. But also, maybe your audience. Who are you actually speaking to? We need to refine that.
And what do you want to? I guess that call to action side of things. What do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Are they looking at the listing and then they're going to the website, or they connecting with you? And is maybe even LinkedIn the best platform to post like a house and the price and the details of that house? Because some people might be looking at other websites to do that. And if your intention is to find clients, maybe you could look at potentially educating people on something.
Yes.
Maybe I'm a first-time home buyer and there's certain steps that you can share with me or the process. Maybe add that on LinkedIn and try drive engagement and finding people through posts like that.
Yes.
Than posting a house like in the price and bedrooms.
I agree. Like telling people this is how you can save for your down payment or different things like that. This is what the market has been doing over the past year. If you needed to, educational posts that will draw people in and see you so they'll see you as a subject matter expert. These posts are great, but maybe for something like Instagram, where it's a more visual platform, you can post pictures of the house and things like that. But I would just say, refine what audience you're actually speaking to.
The about portion is quite short.
Yeah.
I think it can work sometimes that you just have a sentence and it's fine. But just at first glance with this one, it's not really giving much. It's leaving me with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So from a facilitator perspective, can you expand a bit? Like, what are you facilitating? What are you doing in that space? And how does it link back to that software development that you mentioned, the artificial intelligence that you mentioned? And I also think you could expand a bit more on the realtor side of things as well, even from an entrepreneurship perspective. What exactly do you want people to know about you being an entrepreneur? So I'd definitely say expand on a number of the posts that you have, the topics that you've introduced on here, because it's not saying much. It's not really saying much.
We're leaving more confused than before. We're like, okay, we get it. You're an entrepreneur, you're a realtor, you're this, but what does that actually mean? How do I contact you as well? I think, again, knowing your audience would be key. As a realtor, I don't think you're looking for jobs on LinkedIn. You're probably looking for clients. So, how do I actually reach you? What do you want me to do when I see your profile? Am I supposed to reach out to you? Just as Boosie mentioned earlier,
And when I think of it as well, if I would follow you on LinkedIn, would it be to see listings? Because if it's just to see listings, then I'm probably going to use other websites for that.
True.
But if I know that your profile gives maybe information about the market, information about different processes or things that would make my life easier if I'm trying to buy a place, that definitely makes it a bit different, and it gives me a reason to say, oh, this is what I could potentially get from this particular profile if I'd connect with this person.
Very true. And then I know we said that was last one, but just in your experience section, this ties into it. Elaborate on your experiences. Why, what do you do as a facilitator at Humber College? What do you do as a YPN committee member? Tell us. This is good for finding other jobs, but it's also just good for establishing credibility and basically telling us, what do you do? What do you do at these places?
I think it would also help with the search engine. From a search engine optimization perspective, if you're adding details and the skills and things that you're doing in the role, if someone is searching for, and I guess this is more if you're looking for a job, then you would be able to come up on that front. But I think also just think, why are you creating the profile and why are you adding the things that you're adding on there? Does it all make sense together? Is it helping your profile, or rather helping you reach the goal that you have for having this profile on LinkedIn?
Totally agree. Okay, thank you, Bilge. And we'll go on to one last profile for this video. The last profile is Kevwe Osawota. I hope I pronounced your name right. Sorry if I did not.
So I think that feature of adding you pronouncing your own name would definitely be helpful.
Yes.
On here.
Basically, there was a test that they showed non-English name versus an English name, and they had the exact same resume, but the recruiter chose to go with the one with the English name simply because they could pronounce it and it was easier for them. So I'm not saying change your name, but maybe just tell people how to pronounce your name.
It's one of those things, we can't change that about the world, but we can definitely try and make it a bit easier for ourselves. And I think if you add that feature, especially here on LinkedIn, it's available and it would help someone be able to pronounce your name.
Yes, I agree. So we'll give our yes or yikes, just a quick scroll through. Okay. My first thought is yikes.
It's yikes.
Yeah. But I think we can get you to yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I see you're open to network. You're open to network.
To work.
To work.
Yeah.
You're open to work. That is great. But from that first impression perspective, when you're coming onto LinkedIn, I feel like having a banner that would be specific to the industry that you're in or you want to get in would go a very long way.
Yes.
So that would be number one, definitely number one. And then when I look at your, I keep forgetting what this
Headline.
is. The headline.
Yeah.
When I look at your headline, you say internationally trained lawyer, HR professional in transit.
Yeah.
That's not really quite telling me where, like, what kind of roles are you open to? Like, what kind of work are you looking to get into?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, it's a very Nigerian thing to say this in transit. Like it just means you're transitioning.
You're trying to get into.
Yeah, but I think as we can see, not everyone gets. It's like the cultural relevant. Like you need to be in the culture to understand it. So I feel like maybe because not everyone who's going to be recruiting you will be Nigerian.
Understanding,
yeah, maybe
because
change
it definitely didn't translate as that
Yeah.
to me. It didn't. And then also, I think having HR professional. So you want to get into the HR space, but HR professional is very broad. It's very, very broad. And if someone was searching for they're looking for someone who fits the skills that you might already have. How do they find you? By just HR professional. So I think whatever you're putting in your headline, you need to try and think of it from a recruiter's perspective.
Yeah.
What would a recruiter be searching for if they're looking for someone like me when they're trying to fill a role? An HR professional is very, very broad.
Very, extremely. What type of HR professional do you want to be? What is the title of your ideal role? So you can work in the compensation part of HR, you can work as a recruiter. There are so many different parts of HR, but we don't know which one you are in. So put that in your title.
Yeah,
and then the internationally trained lawyer, it's great that you are a lawyer, but that's not going to help you get an HR role typically. You have skills that you learned as a lawyer that will help you, but the title of lawyer is not what's going to help you get that role for sure.
And it's literally what you started with.
Yeah.
It probably should be at the end if you feel like you want to incorporate it into your headline. It definitely should be at the end.
I have to agree.
And the area one as well. Don't box yourself into just Hamilton. I think you could just open it up to Ontario, Canada, so you can get opportunities that are across Canada.
Yes. Your photo, I would say it's not the most professional photo.
When it's like this, I think it looks fine. But when it's like blown up, it's like okay.
Yeah.
It's
a selfie. It could. Yeah, but it's not. We've seen much worse. So I would say it's not that bad. But maybe consider taking more professional headshots. It can also still be with your phone, but just like
have someone
take it for you.
Yeah. Or use a clicker.
Yes.
You can use a clicker as well.
Yes. I like here, look, she's open to work and she has all the roles that she's open to work in. Human resources, generalist, coordinator. So these are the roles you're looking for. Put at least one of them on your tagline.
Tagline.
Another piece of feedback, I guess the about section. So a highly efficient, value-driven individual and forward thinker who is self-motivated and can effectively work independently or...
It's a mouthful.
I am tired just reading that.
Yeah.
So I guess the first piece of feedback when it comes to that would be that is a run-on sentence. So split that into a few sentences. But also, you don't say anything about HR here.
True.
At all.
True.
Yeah.
You definitely have to be mentioning whatever it is you're trying to get into, which is HR. So people know why you want to move to HR. What have you done maybe that makes you a good fit?
Yeah.
Another thing that I'd also say, just from the few words that Reni just read, it feels very fluffy. Like it's very high level. You're not saying anything concrete or tangible. When you say highly efficient, value-driven individual, is there something that you can mention that's very specific that shows that you've driven value before in a certain way? And you say self-motivated, that also feels very fluffy. So is there something specific that you could add if you wanna give that point across?
I have to agree. So and storytell, you can talk about how you are a lawyer and that you have a lot of these skills. You moved to Canada, and this year maybe actually you don't need to mention that you just moved to Canada, but you can say, I am now looking to transition into something I'm more passionate about, which is HR, and then talk about HR from there. But I don't think you need to incorporate your experience, because that's the experience that you have. So incorporate that experience into what you want to get into.
Definitely.
And our last piece of feedback, let's see one more. Maybe the experience section, just giving details.
Giving details definitely on the experience section, because like, okay, you were a customer service representative, but what exactly did you do in that role? Is there something you could add in there that shows that in the HR space that you're trying to get into, you would be a good fit, even though it's not a role that was specifically in the HR space, but there's a number of activities that you might have done that are related. And if a recruiter, for example, is reading it, they say, oh, okay, this person has done X, Y, Z in their role, and it fits with what we're looking for.
Exactly. And my pro tip for that would be look at job postings of roles that you are looking to get into, and literally take pieces of those job postings and put them into your profile. Use those keywords that they're looking in those job postings, because that's exactly how the search engine works. They're going to be looking for those key phrases that they're using. Yeah. Okay, well, those were quite a few profiles. We have more, but honestly, we don't have time to do it in this video. So we're going to do a part 2 to this video. So thank you for watching so far. And thank you to all who submitted their profiles, because I know it's not easy to be criticized. And thank you to Boosie for being on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Also, watch more on Boosie's channel. So I will make sure to leave that information in the description box below. So thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.